Dear students, in the earlier class I told you that there is self-pollination. Self-pollination is possible in Clistogamous flower. There are two kinds of flowers are there, Chasmogamous flower and Clistogamous flower. What is in Chasmogamous flower? Chasmogamous flower is nothing but the flowers are being aerial and it is open. Due to the opening, both andresium and gynoeciums are open. So this is a Camelina bengalensis plant. In this Camelina bengalensis plant, there are two kinds of flowers are there. One is Chasmogamous flower, another one is Clistogamous flower. Chasmogamous flower means the flowers are open. These are exposed to, in the air. So they can pollinated by insects. So it is cross-pollinated. So but this flower is Clistogamous flower. Clistogamous means what? The flowers are remains closed. So this is subterranean underground rhizomatic flower. So some of the flowers are present underground. It is an aerial flower. This is underground flower. So Clistogamous flower, which are very close, completely closed. That means both andresium and gynoeciums are present inside the bud-like flower itself. This flower remains closed. They never open at all. Such a type of flowers are called as Clistogamous flower. In this condition, only self-pollination only possible. That is autogamy alone possible. So now we are go through the next category is contrivances of cross-pollination. In the contrivances of cross-pollination, as I said earlier, they are unisexual flower. They are either monoecious or dioecious. In this condition, only bisexual. That means cross-pollination only possible. Then we have seen dichogamy. In the dichogamy, what do you call? Either andresium mature earlier or gynoecium mature earlier. These are called as dichogamy. These are divided into two types, namely protandry, protogyny. What do you mean by protandry? Proto means earlier, andry means andresium. So if andresium mature earlier, this is called protandry. In clerodendron flowers, here see, this andresium mature earlier. See, this flower is having andresium. This is gynoecium. This andresium or stamen mature earlier than gynoecium. That means this is called protandry. Then later on, gynoecium mature. During that time, completely the stamens completely dispersed. That means there is no pollen grains left over. So now the gynoecium is get ready. That means andresium mature earlier, the gynoecium mature later. So this is called protandry. Andry means andresium, proto means earlier. So andresium mature earlier means protandry. The second category of the dichogamy, it is protogyny. What do you mean by protogyny? Gyny means gynoecium. If gynoecium mature earlier, then this is called protogyny. See here, first this stigma, the gynoecium mature earlier, later on andresium mature. So this type of flowers are called dichogamy. Both protandry as well as protogyny comes under dichogamy. Dichogamy means any one of the andresium or gynoecium, one is mature earlier, another one is mature later. So this condition which making the flower which is possibilities of only cross-pollination. So another category is hercogamy. What do you mean by hercogamy? So this is a flower is called Gloriosa superba. This is a state flower of Tamil Nadu. Sengandamalam. In Tamil you can call it Sengandamalam. Beautiful flower. It's very attractive to see. Sengandamalam. Gloriosa superba. See the position of the reproductive organ. The stigma of the flower is completely being away from andresium. So there is no possibilities of self-pollination. So only possibility is cross-pollination. Even if you see hibiscus flower also, the stigma is being away from andresium. If stamens or stigma are being away from each other, then this condition is called hercogamy. What do you call? Hercogamy. Then another condition is called heterostyly. Third category is called heterostyly. The heterostyly is further divided into two types, namely distyly and tristyly. What do you mean by distyly? There are two different types of style. That means the length of the style will be different. For example, see here, in this flower, this is distyle in primula plant. So this plant is named primula. In this plant, see here, this gynoecium is having very long style, but this flower is having short style. So that such a type of flower is called distyle. Di means two different types of style. So in such occasion, only cross pollination is possible. Here stigma is far away from the andresium, so hence there is no possibilities of cross. So what happened here? The pollen grain from anther of another flower have to be traveled to the stigma and fertilization is possible. So that means cross pollination only possible. Here this andresium is traveled to this stigma, then fertilization is possible. So this is also what you call cross pollination. So in distyle nature of heterostyle, only cross pollination is possible. And another category, tristyle. This is distyle, this is tristyle. In Lythrum plant, three different types of flowers. For example, one is long stem, another one is short stem, another one is normal, that means medium size. So this is a long style which are having two different types of andresium. One is medium, normal, another one is shorter. If you see, normal flowers are having longer stamen, shorter stamen. Then short style flowers are having both longer andresium and shorter andresium. So usually this pollination is possible only at the same height. It is easy. For example, suppose this is a flower, this is a long style flower. This long style flower will be pollinated with other two types of flower, not with the same plant. It's not with the same flower. For example, these flower can able to transfer, the pollen grain from either from normal flower or from short flower can travel this pollen grain to the stigma here. Similarly, if you see the normal style plant, it is having the middle. These will not be pollinated either this andresium or this andresium. This is possible only with either this flower or that flower. And third type of flower, short style flower. This short style flower can able to get the fertilization or pollination from these two flowers only, but not from these two, in the one flower. So such a type of method they used to follow in tristyle in Lythrum, which will make only cross pollination. So these are different types of methods. So there are three conditions so far we have discussed. One is bisexual nature, that is unisexual nature, that is monoecious and dioecious. Second one is dichogamy, protandry and protogyny. Third condition is hercogamy. The fourth nature is heterostyle, distyle as well as tristyle. And the last category, what is the condition which will be only cross pollination is self-sterility and self-incompatibility. What do you mean by self-sterility or self-incompatibility? That means the pollen grains from the anther of the flower to the stigma is highly avoided or prohibited. That means transferring of pollen grain from the anther to the stigma of the flower of the same flower is not be done because of self-sterility or self-incompatibility, which will not allow to fertilize. Then this phenomenon is called self-sterility or self-incompatibility. So that's all about the contrivances of cross-pollination. That means the method which will be promoting the cross-pollination is called as contrivances of cross-pollination. Next we are going to see about agency of pollination. What do you mean by agency of pollination? Agents of pollination is nothing but how the pollination takes place. Pollination can be done by, that means the transferring of pollen grain from the anther to the stigma by some media. Something should take this pollen grain from the anther to the stigma of the flower. What are the things or the device which is taking? This is called as, what do you call? Agents of pollination. Lot of agents of pollination is there. For example, wind, Wind can take the pollen grain to the stigma. Water can take the pollen grain to the stigma. Similarly, various animals, birds, insects, butterfly, honeybees, these are all comes under agents of pollination. These agents of pollination is broadly divided into two types, namely abiotic and biotic. Abiotic means, if you see, actually abiotic means non-living agents can help. For example, wind and water will be called as abiotic agents of pollination. For example, if you see any living organisms like animals, birds, honeybees, butterflies, insects, these are all comes under biotic components of agents to take pollination. These are biotic agents of pollination. Now one by one, deeply we shall discuss. First of all, wind pollination. Wind, the pollination which takes place by wind or air is called as anemophilous. Anemophilous pollination is nothing but the pollination which will be takes place either by wind or air or breeze are called as, what do you call, anemophilous. So there are certain things to be needed for anemophilous or air pollination. How these must be produced huge number of pollen grains. Here the pollination is very less possible because they have to be produced huge number of pollen grains to be produced and large number of, what do you call, this anther to be formed, and moreover they have to be traveled for a long time. Hence the pollen grains should be very smaller in size, microscopic in size, and moreover very light weighted, or it is having any special appendages to fly in the wind, in the wind or air. In such a way, these pollen grains to be lighted, and moreover they might not produce any scented or attractive flower, might not be produced, and the flowers are very smaller in size, very smaller in size. If you see stigma of the gynoecium, which will be exposed to the air, and they are being away from the leaves, then only they can able to catch the pollen grain. And moreover, these anemophilous flowers are having large pedunculous flower. The inflorescence must be having large peduncle, a large sachet flower like Achyranthes, like Actinides. Such a type of inflorescence should be very much useful for anemophilous flowers. So they have to be traveled for a long time. Hence, these should be dried, light-weighted, inconspicuous, and that should be produced in large quantity. Then only they can take. It is an option. Definitely, pollination is whether possible or not, we cannot be able to determine because it is an optional. When it is falling on the stigma, pollination maybe takes place. If it is not falling, if it is falling on the ground, there is no possibility of pollination. So it is an optional. That is why it is producing huge number of pollen grains on the stigma, on the anther. Then only it is possible. So such a type of pollination is called, what do you call it? Anemophilous pollination or air pollination or wind pollination. Now we shall discuss one of the example of wind pollination. For example, in sea maize plant. So this is unisexual flower. Both male flower, that is tassel, female flower, that is carp, are present in the same plant. This is called monoecious. In monoecious plant, huge number of anther might be produced in this tassel. Then the anther might be very large in size. They cannot be able to track much more distance because a light wind which will be making the anther to fall. Then the stigma, the pollen grain fall on the stigma. Immediately the stigma, it is a silky stigma. Stigma is silky stigma and style which are present on the tip of the carp, which can receive these all pollen grains and the pollination might be takes place. Then we are going to see about pollination takes place by water. If pollination takes place by water, then this is called hydrophily. Hydrophily. Hydro means water, phily means pollination. That means pollination which takes place by water is called as hydrophily. Most of the aquatic plants, they prefer, anemophily, not anemophily, or in insect pollination or birds pollination rather than hydrophily. Very rare plants, even though they are aquatic, they are living in water, they are rarely using water as a pollinating agent. Only few plants like Wallisneria. So this is Wallisneria plant. So this is male plant, this is female plant. So this is unisexual. And dioecious. Dioecious means male plant separate, female plant separate. So this is male inflorescence, this is female inflorescence. Both these hydrophytes actually divided into two types of hydrophytes. Epihydrophily and hypohydrophily. What do you mean by epihydrophily? If the pollination takes place on the surface of water, then this pollination is called epihydrophily. Some of the pollination which will takes place inside the water. Suppose some of the plant like Ceratophyllum, Utricularia, such a type of plants can able to take hypohydrophily. Hypo means inside the water. That means the pollination might be takes place inside the water. But this is epihydrophily. So pollination in Wallisneria is a good example for epihydrophily. What is meant by epihydrophily? On. Epi means on. So this pollination takes place on the surface of water. That is why it is called epihydrophily. Okay. How the epihydrophily or pollination by water in Wallisneria takes place in detail, now we can see. So this is male plant. This male plant is having male inflorescence. So these male inflorescence which can able to release lot of male flower. These male flower will be float on the surface of water. So this is female flower. These female flowers are coil-like structure. Usually they used to be just touching the surface of water. Just above the surface of water, there is a depression will be formed on the surface of water just near to the female flower. So whenever the male flowers are traveling on the surface, there is a depression is formed near to the male flower, then immediately the male flower will be fallen on the female flower. Then pollination takes place. Once the pollination takes place, this stalk of the female flower will be coiled and pull inside. Then the fertilization takes place inside the water. So this is the type of epihydrophilous nature or hydrophily which takes place in Wallisneria. Now we shall see the remaining part of the pollination which will be takes place by various animals. So now we are going to see about pollination which takes place by animals. For example, this is also called as zoophily. Zoophily means the pollination which takes place by animals are called as zoophily. This pollination might be takes place by birds, or snails, insects, birds, various types of animals will be take part. Each and every one will be called different name. For example, if birds are transferring the pollen grain, this is called ornithophily. We shall see the diagrammatic representation. I shall show you the picture. In this picture, we can able to see very clearly. See here. So this is the pollination which takes place by beetle. Beetle means small in Tamil, vandu. So with the help of this beetle, if pollination takes place, this is called cantherophily. Then certain moth, butterfly-like insect, this is called moth. If pollination takes place by moth, then this is called phalinophily. Then honeybee. If pollination takes place by bees, then this is called melitophily. Then the pollination takes place by butterfly. Then this is called psychophily. Then the fertilization takes place by snails. Then this is called monocophily. Certain flowers will be pollinated by birds like a hummingbird, sunbird. Such a type of birds can take part in the cross pollination. They are called as ornithophily. So depends upon the type of animals. If you see some of the insects, like ants, If ants are using for pollination, then this is called myrmecophily. If bats are transferring the pollen from flower anther to the stigma, then this is called chiropterophily. So in such a manner, various kinds of different types of animals will be take part in pollination. So these are all comes under zoophily. So zoophily is having a specialized characteristic features. The flowers should be very attractive. The flowers should be very larger in size, and also the flowers should be producing scent or beautiful smell to attract the insects for pollination. Otherwise, they might be producing nectar or honey to be produced inside the flower to attract various butterfly or honeybee. Such a type of insects can visit the flower for pollination. So this is a reward. The honey or nectar or attractive smell or even pollen is acting like a food for some insects. So these are reward for these animals for pollination. So pollinating agents can get reward from the flower. So these are various categories. That is why the flowers should be very much attractive to attract the insects, or they should be very colorful. They should be very larger in size. They should be having very scented or fragrance. Some of the flowers might be producing nectar or honey. Some of the flowers are producing pollen for eating as a food. In such a way, various types of material to be produced by the flowers to attract for pollination. If some of the flies and beetle, they will be attracted by foul smell, foul odor. Foul means bad smell. If flowers are producing bad smell, this will be attracted by flies and beetle. So they can visit. So depends upon the agents of pollination, they can produce various types of mechanism. If you see some of the flowers are like, what do you call? See here, this flower. This flower can be able to modify to a long tube-like structure to get the honey. The peak is also very long. The bird's peak is very narrow and pointed long, as well as the flowers are also producing a tube-like structure to get honey. If you see sunbird or hummingbird, which can be able to get such both flowers as well as these birds both are producing the adaptation. This is called co-evaluation. What do you call? Co-evaluation. In such a way, this pollination takes place in animals. So it is so beautiful example for pollination. So after pollination, what will happen? This crossing of pollen grains from anther will be traveled to the stigma. So the stigma is always ready to receive the pollen grain. The pollen grain is having, the stigma is having a huge mucilage or fluid substances to attract, to receive the pollen grain. Another one important mechanism is pollination in salvia flower, that is called lever mechanism. So lever mechanism is another type of cross pollination. So this is one important question. How lever mechanism takes place in salvia flower. It is a beautiful flower. This is a salvia flower. So this flower is having bilabiate corolla. That means corolla is having lip-like structure. This is lower lip, this is upper lip-like structure. That is why it is called as bilabiate. So inside the bilabiate flower, it is having andresium. So this is andresium. So andresium and gynecium. This andresium is having one fertile lobe here, another one sterile lobe at here. So it is not visible in this diagram. So one sterile lobe is being at the bottom, one fertile lobe is being at the top. By the meantime, this is gynecium. So this flower is dichogamy. Dichogamy means, protandry. Andresium mature earlier than gynecium. That means first andresium mature, then gynecium will be mature. Suppose, now this is a honeybee or insect to visit to take nectar or pollen. Now this flower is visiting this flower. Then this flower is entering into the bilabiate flower and landing on this lower lip. This lower lip is placing for landing place for this insect. Then it is going inside. The head of the insect is penetrate inside. Then it is pushing this unfertile lobes of this anther. This may the fertile lobe of anther to touch on the back of this insect. So this pollen grain will be fall on the back of this insect. Then this insect, after taking honey or nectar, this will be coming outside. Then it is visiting another flower. In this flower, if stigma is ready to fertilize, now it is visiting. Now this insect is visiting the stigma flower. That means now the stigma is mature. Now the flower is visiting inside. During this time, the pollen grain from the back side of the insect will be transferred to the stigma of this flower. So in such a way, this pollination takes place in salvia. This mechanism is called lever mechanism in salvia. So in various kinds of pollination takes place in by zoophily in various kinds of animals. Now we are going to see about fertilization. So immediately after pollination, we are going to see about fertilization. How the fertilization takes place. What is meant by fertilization? The fusion of male and female gametes are called as fertilization. Fusion of male and female gamete is called as fertilization. This process, the process of fertilization takes place in a systematic manner in angiospermic plant. Right, see. Now what happened? Pollination is completed. What is meant by pollination? Transferring a pollen grain from anther to the stigma of the flower. Now the pollen grain is falling on the stigma. Now stigma is ready to receive the pollen grain. Here some mucilaginous substances might be there. There is wet stigma, sometimes dry stigma also might be there. This pollen grain will be absorbed, these mucilaginous or sugary substances, sugary liquid fluid might be there. This sugary liquid fluid will be absorbed by this pollen grain. Then what happens? This intine and exine is get ready, and through the pollen germ pore, the pollen tube will be emerges out. Number of pollen tube will be arises from various kinds of pollen grain, but only one pollen tube will be reach the ovule. All the pollen tube will not reach the ovule. They will be stopped in the middle itself. Only one pollen tube. That means only one pollen grain which is producing the pollen tube will reach this ovule. So when it is producing the pollen tube, yesterday in the previous class itself, we have seen that, which will be producing two male gametes inside the pollen tube that will be being near to the tip. When these flowers are visiting this tip of the, this embryo sac or nucellus through micropyle. There is two supporting cells are called synergids in the earlier class we have seen. When it is touching the synergids, this pollen tube will be open. Then the fertilization process might be takes place. There are two male gametes are producing. While it is traveling through this this style, there are various mechanisms are there. This style is three different types. Sometimes the style might be very hollow, empty space. So the pollen tube very freely can able to enter. In monocot plant, this style is hollow tube or open style. In dicot stem, if you see, these have become very hard. That means it is closed. So through this style, this pollen tube have to be penetrated. Some other plants are having semi-solid. That means these might be neither be hollow nor be solid, intermediate between these two. So three different types of style might be there. On this basis, this pollen tube will be penetrated through style and ovary and enter into the, this micropyle. The entry of pollen tube is also, which will be done by three methods. I shall tell you later on how this pollen tube will be penetrated inside the ovule. There is three different types, methods are there. I shall tell you later on. By the meantime, I shall explain about this sexual reproduction. As I said just now, this pollen tube is having two male gametes. One male gamete will be fused with the egg. This is female gamete. This is called egg. Near to the egg, synergids are there. When it is touching the synergids, the pollen tube is open. Then one of the male gamete will be fused with the zygote. Egg to form zygote. The zygote will be developed to form embryo later on. The second male gamete will be penetrate inside. They fuse with the secondary nucleus or polar nuclei are present at the center. The polar nucleus, secondary nucleus already diploid. It is haploid. Then this is fused with the diploid polar nucleus. Then it is forming triploid primary endosperm nucleus. So this is called triple fusion. This is called triple fusion. So there are two fertilizations takes place. One is male gamete with egg. This is forming syngamy. The second male gamete is fused with polar nuclei. So this is second fertilization. This is called double fertilization. This is a unique nature in angiosperm. Triple fusion and double fertilization takes place only in angiospermic plant. What is meant by double fertilization? One male gamete is fused with the egg to form syngamy. This is called first fertilization. The second fertilization is the second male gamete is fused with polar nuclei to form primary endosperm nucleus. The primary endosperm nucleus become endosperm. That we can discuss tomorrow or next class in detail. So there are two fertilization which takes place. That is why it is called double fertilization. What is triple fusion? One of the male gamete is haploid. Already two polar nucleus are having. These are having diploid. One haploid fused with diploid to form triploid. So that is why it is called triple fusion. So triple fusion of primary endosperm nucleus. Pen will be formed. This pen will be divided by mitotic cell division to produce endosperm. That will be nutritive food for the developing embryo which is formed by syngamy later on.